Thank you. Thank you for all the times we've crunched,
Cracked,
munched,
dunked.
twisted, and mmm'd together.
Thank you for all the love you've shown us. Returning that love is what inspires us.
At Mondelez International, we understand that the way you live is changing the way you eat. And that you don't want to choose between snacking and eating right.
Right for a delicious bite. Right for your well-being. Right for our planet. That's why at Mondelez International, we want to make snacking right.
All around the world, our makers and bakers are passionate about bringing you the right snack.
For the right moment, made the right way.
Mondelez International. Snacking made right.
What a wonderful video to start off this exciting session. A video that beautifully captures our purpose, empowering people to snack right. Hi everyone, I am Jeffin Jose, the People Experience Advisor for Thane Technical Center, one of our global R&D centers here in India. So we have an action-packed agenda for the next 70 odd minutes. I will be starting off giving you a small introduction about Mondelez. Varinder Jaiswal, who is the lead for the technical center at Thane, would then be addressing all of you. We will then have Reti and Meetu, who will take you through the details of Mondelez Mavins and the important timelines. We will then have an esteemed panel discuss about various topics, including the future of snacking, how the talent landscape is looking in the industry, and also touch upon on the first aid submission. So all participants here, please be all ears. I'm sure your perspectives are going to be broadened after you listen to our panel. So let's get started. And while we get started, I want to tell you that we are spending last 5 minutes on Q&A, but please don't wait for the end. You can put your questions, comments, etc. on the chat box. We will try to answer them on the chat box itself, right? But if there are any other questions, we could take them at the end as well. Great. So with that, I request folks on live on call right now to type in your names, the names of your campus and courses in the chat box so that we can see, which all campuses are here with us today. Great. So I'm going to share my screen right now and let's get started. I'm sure everyone on this broadcast has heard about Mondelez International, but I'll still spend the next 2 minutes talking about our brand. I hope my screen's back again. Yeah. So we are the global leaders for snacking and proud owners of some of the great snacking brands in the world. So it's a combination of both global brands like Oreo, Dairy Milk, Milka, and also some of our own local jewels like Bonvita and Five Star. Let us know on the comments below which is your favorite Mondelez brand or products. So our business is spread across the globe, around 150 plus countries, which is categorized into 14 different business units, which rolls up into 4 regions, namely North America, Latin America, Europe, and EMEA. Our products are across categories. We have products in the categories of chocolate, biscuits, gums, candies, meals, beverages, both in refreshment category and cocoa beverages, and very recently also into choco bakery. We employ around 80K employees around the world and have an annual net revenue of over 27 billion. While we exist to do business, we don't shy away from our responsibility towards our communities and our planet. It is very evident from our impactful work that we do in our communities through our CSR and beyond, and especially how we supported folks during a difficult time like COVID as well. You know mostly for our brands, and you see more brands here on your screen. But who are we actually, other than these consumer brands? We are who we are because of our brands and the people who make these brands happen. So if you ask someone outside Mondelez who we are, they will tell us we are the proud owners of some of these brands. But if you ask an employee of Mondelez about who we are, they'll tell you about the culture of this place. They'll tell you how proud they are to be part of Mondelez as an employer. They'll tell you it's a culture that respects people, a culture that is inclusive, a culture that lets us be who we are, a culture that will help us grow, a culture that will encourage you to do what is right, and a culture that will push you to be the best that you can. Which is why we proudly say that folks wants to join us for our brands but wants to stay for our culture. So let us now play a quick video about people at Mondelez, who we call as the makers and bakers of Mondelez.
We are the makers and bakers of Mondelez International, the world's leader in global snacking. Our future has never been brighter, tastier, healthier, sweeter, crunchier, or bolder.
We're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with fresh questions, ideas, and perspectives. We are ready to disrupt.
It's our mission to lead the future of snacking around the world by offering the right snack for the right moment made the right way. We are snacking made right.
This opens up exciting possibilities because if you make it with us, you make it with pride.
You'll work with brands that people fall in love with. They remind us of our childhood, the warmth, the delight, the memories.
We are constantly innovating for the future. As our world and tastes change, so do we.
With us, you make it uniquely yours because we want you, just as you are, leaning in, speaking up, and challenging your limits.
With us, you make it a better world. Being global isn't about being big. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself.
A place where the world is yours to protect as well as enjoy. A place where days are filled with different voices, different possibilities, different cultures, but driven by the same shared purpose, empowering people to snack right.
With us, you make it happen.
We're hungry to seize every opportunity and stretch towards new challenges, loving what we do, but not taking ourselves too seriously.
With us, you'll have the space to make a difference, to do more, learn more, and grow more.
Make it with pride.
Make it uniquely yours.
Make it a better world.
Make it happen.
Make it with Mondelez International. Snacking made right.
Great. So, if you want to taste one of our products, it's quite easy. You go to a shop, you buy that product. If it's a foreign product, you probably wait for that relative of yours to come back from abroad. But how do you get to experience Mondelez as an employer? And that's the thought that led to the idea of Mondelez Mavins. Mondelez Mavins is essentially an attempt from our side to give you a glimpse of the culture of Mondelez, to let you have a chance to interact with our food scientists and be mentored by them. An opportunity to get a first-hand experience of what it means to be part of an R&D global organization. Not all participants are going to end up being first, second, or third at the end of this competition. Not all of you might get a pre-placement interview invitation from our end. But the experience that you will gain and the networks that you will establish as part of it is definitely going to help you in your career. So if not directly from the campus as a technical trainee, in future, if you want to be part of Mondelez, this is an opportunity to know us in real. So with that, we'll step into the next part of the session. Let me invite Varinder Jaiswal, who is our site lead for Thane Technical Center. So a quick brief about Varinder. Varinder completed his post-graduation in food science engineering from India in 2000. He then moved into Australia to pursue his higher studies in the same domain. He joined Kraft Food back in 2005 in Australia. And from then to 2016, he did various roles across categories in Mondelez and in Kraft. And he came back to India in 2016 and since then been with our Thane Technical Center. In 2020, he took up the additional responsibility of being the site lead while continuing to do his role as the productivity lead for chocolate in EMEA. So, on behalf of all of you, let me welcome Varinder, and he would take the session forward from here. Welcome, Varinder.
Thank you, Jeffin, and very warm welcome to everyone. It's my privilege and pleasure to host you guys today, and we are really looking forward to this program. So, Jeffin, thank you for very nice introduction. I guess I don't need to repeat, but I just want to just build on it. And then I will share a little bit of a history and our legacy as R&D organization globally as well as in India. So firstly, as Jeffin mentioned, I'm born, brought up here in India. I'm basically graduated from Guru Nanak Dev University back in 2000 and then moved to Australia, did my master's. I joined another company called Lemnos Food before I was lucky enough to join Kraft Foods, almost as a grad still. And then through various roles in Kraft Foods, basically experienced a number of different brands, categories, technologies, functions, etc., etc. And then I had the opportunity to basically explore something outside of Australia. This was nearly after 10 years at Kraft Foods in Melbourne. So since 2015, I came back and did various roles within the organization. So basically that sums up my journey. And in my current role, as Jeffin mentioned, I have the privilege of leading this great technical center, as well as I'm still continuing my functional role, which is leading the AMIA chocolate productivity. And I also part of the country leadership team representing R&D. Just checking my slides if they are visible. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So that's really about me. Nearly 19 years industry experience, and still going and enjoying what I do. So a little bit about our history of Mondelez R&D and our being here for like last 40 years. As you know, Cadbury has been around for nearly now 70 plus years. Out of that, R&D basically started around 40 years ago as a very small group. And then it evolved along with the organization. As the organization grew, our R&D as a function also grew. It was called Science and Technology Center. And then in around, I would say 2012, when after Kraft and Cadbury had combined, some of the roles became regional, and then 2015 onwards, we became really a global tech center. And then the picture that you saw on the very first slide is actually our new building, which we started in 2018. So basically, this is the information that you see on this chart is actually representing that site. So that is basically, we completed 3 years in that building. We're very proud of our home. We call it our home because we spend nearly 60-70% of our time as well as life in that home. We are one of the 14 global tech centers around the globe. We have basically 3 categories that we play primarily: chocolate, beverages, and biscuits. Beverages is basically also have parts called gum and candy and meals, but primarily in India it's beverages. Hence, that's what you see on the chart. We also have a AMIA regulatory hub. And as I mentioned, this is a global tech center. So while we are based in India, we work for all the global brands and many other markets outside of India. Particularly 70-80% of our folks out of the 160 plus scientists and engineers that we have at our center, 70-80% of work in regional and global roles. We have about 16 sub-functions. Of course, you will learn more about them. Basically, these are, like packaging, product, process, regulatory affairs and scientific affairs, consumer science, analytical sciences, and then we also have, global, regional versus local teams, XYZ. We are also very proud of our journey. We really feel pride in sort of making ourselves an equal opportunity employer. As a result, our diversity ratio of female to male colleagues is also nearly 50%. We are also diverse by the number of folks represented out of this country. Like you can see 16 languages, and India is a diverse country, so 16 languages mean we have nearly 60-70% of folks from different parts of the country. I mean, these 16 languages are official languages. I know there are hundreds of languages from a local perspective. This site basically is a standalone site, very standing on like 12,000 square feet plot, and we have about 1,300 square feet of built up area, which includes pilot plant and our seating facility. It's a green building, and again, very proud to say that recently we also received a global LEED certification, which is perhaps one of the topmost international certifications for a green building. We continue to build on our credentials. This year we were also able to compete with some of our industry colleagues and partners, and we won a couple of prizes for extraordinary work that we have done on sustainability and ensuring that we really part of the community. We have a zero water discharge, we have zero landfill, we are 100% green electricity, and we almost try to save 6 tons of carbon every month. So we try to make sure that we don't only take from the nature, we also look after the nature so that we have this legacy continuing for our next generations. We are very proudly great place to work. We have this thing globally where our technical center, while we are young in terms of a global tech center, we have won that award 2 times in the last 3 times we have competed. So that's a summary of our tech center, and I think I hope that has given you good sense of what the R&D center is all about. Maybe now we can give you a little bit of a virtual tour of our home. So we'll just move to a video next.
This is Thane Technical Center, the birthplace of latest snacks and beverages that consumers are loving. And today, we are going to share the process behind these success stories. We are revealing the secret formula for the right snack. It all starts with a T. Teamwork. The most exciting discoveries happen when people come together as teams. Especially here, in our idea kitchen. Teams that are motivated and agile. With team members that care. And stay the course when the going gets tough.
Let's try again.
We all talk in a single voice, the voice of consumers. We listen to our experts and learn the art of perfect formula from their decades of experience. And we collaborate with our cross-functional colleagues and experts in different geographies. We rely on another team, our technology. Cutting-edge R&D technology that ensures we deliver solutions faster. Our pilot plant serves as a melting pot of our ideas, hopes, and dreams, empowering and enabling us to do more, to go farther. Analytical lab that slices our products and quantifies its attributes to ensure that we adhere to consumer-inspired quality. Packaging lab that is the hub of creativity and translates our imagination into prototypes. And finally, to this potent mix, we add our most important ingredient, consumer centricity. Our teamwork and technology come together to achieve one single goal, creating the desired consumer experience. We do this by listening to our consumers at our consumer science labs. What snacks they like, what flavors they prefer, what are the tastes and textures that excite them. We try and feel what consumers feel, and we do it time after time after time till we get it right. To sum it all up, here at RDQ, we create desired consumer experience by studying information, applying our imagination, and our teens take initiative. You put all this together, and experts call it innovation. That's our culture. It's a culture that enables us to dream big and grow every day. This is how.
Year on year, we have created delicious snacks for our consumers.
That's our secret, and it's easy to remember. T for teamwork, T for technology, and C for consumer centricity. And our journey has only just begun.
Thank you. I'll just move back to my slide. So that's a good segue for me to now also introduce our vision and purpose. So at TTC, which you have heard just then, is basically Thane Technical Center. Our mission is to lead the future of snacking. And how we want to do it? We want to do it by building smart capabilities, delivering technical excellence, and representing the universe we serve. And when we say universe, it doesn't mean universe in a demographic sense only. It means everything around us. It means the people who work with us. It means our shareholders, our stakeholders, our consumers, and the communities that we serve around us. And this slide, I hope the slides are changing for you. Okay, I assume that. So this slide just summarizes the purpose and the vision that we have. You have heard about our purpose of snacking made right. So we do that through right snack, right movement, and made it right way. I just mentioned our mission, but if you also think about if Technical Center or Thane Technical Center was a person, how do you imagine its personality? How do we as employees or as owners of that technical center show up every day? So we have put a mission, we have put a vision together, which is we want to be versatile technopreneurs with a zeal to wow our consumers by keeping the community and planet at heart. Now, I just want to sort of touch on a couple of these words because otherwise they remain words, right? What does really being a technopreneur means? Because I mentioned it's about, having a personality for the center. It's something that, we aspire to be. So technopreneurs, for sake of example, is the way we imagine it is they are future ready innovators. They are agile. They have a growth mindset. They are not afraid of failing. They fall 10 times, but ready to rise 11th time to again make things happen. How do we show consumer centricity? We connect with the consumers. We try to get into their world. They are center of our universe. Everything that we do in service of our consumers. We build design excellence in whatever we do. We just don't do things that fall apart as soon as they go to the market. As you know, some of the Mondelez brands are 100 years old, and these are built with this passion and commitment that our community as a R&D as well as a global Mondelez community has to build these brands. And as I think I have already mentioned about the community part, I don't want to repeat it. But again, I think it's about really continuing the legacy that has been built by our predecessors, and we want to continue to sort of nurture that and really continue this journey of success as well as pride, so that the future generations can also enjoy our great products. Okay. So now a little bit about what do we really, expect from Mondelez Mavins. I think really some of the behaviors and some of the skills and capabilities and the passion that I have captured in the vision is really, I think, just to share with you, this is who we are as an organization. This is our culture, and this is what each individual who works at Mondelez as well as in R&D stands for. So similarly, when we talk about Mondelez Mavins, I think these are some of the shared expectations that we have. But elaborating a little bit further on that, who we are looking for are really self-driven individuals who are self-aware, who are passionate about what they do. They don't only come to work to just earn a paycheck, but they really come to work to really make a difference. They are digital savvy. They are basically, someone who are moving along with the time. They are not basically, tied to the past. They're proud of their in heritage, but they are also future looking. We don't expect you to be experts, because technical things are something that we can teach you. But what we expect you is to come with a lot of curiosity, really fire in your belly to learn and be the curious learners, really high on ethics, and someone who really, resonate with the value system that we have at Mondelez. And finally, someone who has growth and ownership mindset. Now, what does growth and ownership mindset means? It doesn't mean that, basically growth is all about dollars and stuff. Growth is about, like, really in every possible way. Like, every day you come to work, you're ready to learn and grow yourself. You are ready to really, when you're stuck with the problems, you don't give up. You basically find ways to do it. You don't feel somebody will tap on your shoulder to get things done. You are, as I said, self-driven. You find ways to do things. You're really resourceful. And above all, one of the things we, particularly as India team, as part of this global center, really proud of, is our social connection. And we really love to celebrate. We work hard, but we party harder. So we are looking for someone who is really also, ready to have some fun. We don't really, all about serious about work only. We also want you to enjoy and really be part of the team. So with that, I will formally open this Mondelez Mavins program with a small video. Can I have a video, please?
Mondelez International. Snacking made right.
Thank you. Thank you for patient hearing about all about Mondelez and R&D culture. I will come back, but let me now invite Meetu and Rati to share more details about this program with you.
Thank you, Varinder. While we are doing this virtually, but the TTC video did take us to the Thane Tech Center and it felt really good. So here we are going to talk about the Mondelez Mavins. And first of all, thank you everyone for participating live today. Good evening. It has been a really exciting journey for us in building the Mavins program, which we are live launching today, and to be able to bring it to you all to enhance our engagement and interaction. So, let us understand why Mavins. What is it that you are going to learn from this experience? So, moving on to the slide of why Mavins. All right. So, so, so Mavins actually will give you the right opportunity to experience the culture that we so proudly have in the Mondelez world. We love our consumers and our brands. So, this gives us the opportunity to all of you there to come and work with the brands and the people who have built these brands together. I'm sure you guys are also those consumers who really love and have grown with the brands. Not just the brands, we also grow our people. We have a culture where the budding technopreneurs like you can experience a multinational R&D work culture to grow and nurture as future food scientists and engineers, not just for this country, but globally. But while growing our brands and growing our people, we ensure that we do whatever we do right, with the right attitude, with the right understanding of consumer needs, with the right attitude for design and manufacturing of our products, and yet doing what is right for our environment. Being sustainable and being environmental friendly is one of our core values. So, when we are running this program, there are a few asks from your side, which I am sure you are pretty excited about. So, the ask here is, if we can go to the next slide, please. Yes, thank you. So, share your big idea. I am sure you, as young technopreneurs, have great ideas burning in your minds, in your bellies. So, yes, we want to hear those ideas from you, which are based on the theme for good health and sustainability, not just sharing the idea. As we progress through the Mavins program, you get an opportunity as a budding technopreneur to strategize, plan, and execute your idea. However, at the final stage, the exciting opportunity will be to get mentored by the bright minds in our Thane R&D center who will mentor and guide you to elaborate on your ideas and further detail out and present this to the leaders here at Mondelez R&D. So, yes, what are you waiting for? Do register and participate as soon as possible. And now, to take you through the timeline, I hand it over to Rati.
Thank you, Mitu, and thank you for taking us why Mavens for as a Mondelez and as a students. So, as you guys know, registration are already open. We have soft launched this Mavens program with partner Dare to Compete, and registration are open now, but they will be closing on 9th January at 11:59 p.m. So, if you have not registered yet, please do register. And for the stage one submissions, we have a problem statement on the Dare to Compete website, and we there is a one-pager submission. So after registration, there are 3 days to submit your one pager on the stage one, which is of 12th of January 2022. And for the next stage, whoever qualifies, like top 15 teams, will go to the next stage two, and they will work on a different problem statement. And they will submit the format for audio visual, and submit this via 30th January 2022. And if you happen to qualify in this next stage, we top five teams will be qualifying, and they will work with your mentors as Meetu suggested. They work under the mentors of R&D and work with the same problem in the stage two. And there will be submissions, and there will be a grand finale with the live panel. So on 25th February 2022, there will be a grant. You will pitch your idea, detailed idea with a detailed problem on 25th February 2022 with the live panel, and there will be a live Q&A after that when you pitched your idea. And the next, I invite Shubham Banerjee, who had participated in similar event we conducted in 2019 in ICT. So Shubham Banerjee is also our 2021 technical trainee batch. So I would like him to, share his experience of the hackathon event we conducted in 2019.
Yeah, so thank you for that introduction and welcome all. A warm welcome to all the young techies and innovators here to Mondelez Mavins. I'm Shubham Banerjee. I have completed my MTech from ICT Mumbai and I did my internship at Mondelez and currently working as a technical trainee for the batch 2021. So, guys, I have been a participant at Mondelez Hackathon, and back in 2019, when I was in my first year as an MTech student at ICT Mumbai. And guys, this hackathon was my first actual exposure to a professional atmosphere and Mondelez ways of working. So a peep into this, cumulative approach to making projects successful through the course of the hackathon. And uh, in this event, we got a multifaceted avenue to talk to people at Mondelez from different areas of global expertise, guys, and people I personally have looked up to since my entire academic tenure as a food technologist. So that was a great thing. Be it new product development, consumer science, statistics, marketing, there were panelists from and mentors from almost every wing at Mondelez, and everyone had some unique way of approaching the problems. And when we were asking them doubts, they cleared all our doubts regarding how to approach that specific challenge. And the mentors, the major fun thing was that the mentors treated us like actual project managers, which made it all the more realistic and enjoyable. They even gave us some strategies, divulged, I would say, some strategies that they use in the organizational level, which left us awestruck and made the atmosphere very conducive to imagination and innovation at the same time. So, though I didn't win, the true feeling of how it works out in the organization, the value of team building, respecting varied opinions, prepared me better, the for my professional journey with Mondelez. The work culture, the communication strategies, the way people talk to each other. I did end up interning here, and now as a trainee, I'm working here. I look back at this experience as a building block. So, just before I end, a few pointers of advice, guys, as a past hackathon participant. Firstly, team building is important, very important. The kind of people you select in your team, they should be from diverse mentality, diverse points of view, opinions. That variation will be there. Only then you can jam with your ideas. Okay. Obviously, be conscious of the time limit because don't take up any activities which will overload or overshoot your time. Uh, Third is obviously be as creative and imaginative as possible, but with a little hint of practicality. Okay, try to network with all the leaders you get in front of you. Okay, try to network with all of them. There's no wrong questions. Ask them anything possible and think of your idea as a mini business pitch. Okay, so rather than thinking only like engineers and food chemists and food technologists, also think about the marketing side of it, a little bit about the financials, and incorporate that in your thought process. And last but not the least, spend more time on the presentation, at least my personal view, rather than just taking all the time in your decision making. So because that is what you're going to finally present to the judges out there. And lastly, brownie points for all who can use their genius minds and develop a proof of concept or a prototype right on the day of hackathon. They will get some brownie points. Other than that, just enjoy your time here and best of luck to everybody.
Thank you, Shubham. These were really, really useful and actionable tips for the participants here. I now hand over to Varinder to take it forward.
Sure. Thank you, Rati, Mitu, and Shubham. Shubham almost has leaked the paper now. So you know what to expect and what to focus on. Thank you, Shubham. So now, taking the program forward, I invite our panel members. So starting with Subhashish Sarkar, he is a senior group leader for chocolates innovation for AMIA. Yogesh Bambal, he's a senior group leader for R&D packaging team for AMIA. Geeta Parb, she is a senior group leader for R&D biscuits India. Zafar Khan, he's a senior manager scientific and regulatory affairs AMIA. And Hargovind Adhikari, who is a people lead, global people lead for R&D. So while he's based here, he actually work 24/7 because he work across all the different time zones at times. So welcome everybody. So folks, what I would really, before we get into Q&A with this panel, I think what I really would like to do is invite you guys to perhaps use the chat box and ask any questions. The questions you may have on the program. We will try to cover some of the questions that will give you a little bit of a sense of Mondelez culture, Mondelez ways of working, innovation, what to expect, some trends, and some thoughts from these leaders. Yeah. But I think we don't want to make it a monologue. We want to have it a dialogue, a multiple faceted dialogue, so that we really able to answer things that you have on your mind. And I will ask my colleagues to please keep a watch on the comment box so that we can ask the questions that are relevant to this panel. So welcome everybody once again. I think I'm going to start with Hargo. So Hargo, could you please give us a sense of what does a global organization means and what to expect from such a workplace? And what do you think is on offer for our potential Mavins?
All right, thanks, Varinder, and happy to be here with our panel and also in the company of the bright students that we have here. So, I mean, a lot has been said and spoken about earlier in course of the presentation. I would just reinforce a bit of that and add some of my own thoughts. So, our global R&D organization is organized as categories and functions. We have a multi-geography presence, and the majority of our workforce is based across our global network of technical centers. And each of these centers, like we've shown you a glimpse of TTC, but each of these technical centers has the physical and intellectual resources to support our category innovations. So when you come to a global workplace like ours, you can definitely expect it to be a cultural melting pot, a very, very diverse organization, not just in gender. And I recall Varinder sharing some bit of it with you earlier. Not just in gender, but also in the whole ways of working, the diversity of thoughts, the generational mix that we have here, the geographical composition, languages, and so many of them and ticking. So you can expect to work with highly talented and very, very passionate colleagues. And if I were to talk about what's on offer for our potential Mavins, that's something which we covered as part of the presentation, but I would like to focus on some other aspects too. Well, if you are paying attention to our vision, then you would know that our mission is to lead the future of snacking. And like our program pitch says, it's your chance to be a part of that future of snacking, experience the joy of creation, and empowering our consumers to snack right. You of course get to rub shoulders with fellow participants from some great institutions in the area of food science and technology. You get to learn from the most talented mentors at Mondelez as you look to give wings to your powerful ideas, and not to mention the prizes, the gift vouchers, and the opportunity to earn a pre-placement interview. So we really look forward to hosting you.
Thank you, Hargo. If I may just follow up again with another question. What are some of the mindsets do you think are required to be part of such a global organization?
Sure. Thanks, Varinder. So I think last 2 years we have seen a lot of changes happening all around us, and we've seen the workplace changing. We have seen the ways of working also evolving. And for a global organization like us, some of the top of mind themes to me would include, agility over perfection, as we say it at Mondelez, with world around us changing so fast, the tastes and preferences of our consumers and customers changing so frequently. I think we no more have the luxury to go into those long ranged product development plans. Instead, we focus more on test and learns, modeling and simulation, etc., digital first innovations, as part of our efforts to shift our mindset to agility over perfection. And like you mentioned earlier, growth mindset is something that we all look at. It's something which talks about how do we operate from the point of view of abundance rather than that of scarcity, right? We live in times where we have ample resources available. We are hosting this session live on YouTube, and we all know that YouTube is a repository of knowledge, right? So it's from at a little or no cost we have access to so many resources now that we are actually living in the times of abundance. So how do we use that growth mindset to grow every day, to be the best of who we are and to continue to improve on that? So that's something which is important. And another part that I would like to talk about is that be comfortable with uncomfortable. We no more live in an era where we used to talk about knowing it all. I think that mindset has to shift from knowing it all to learning it all, because every day you will have new surprises coming your way. So the world and our success in this world will be defined by our ability to how quickly we learn on demand rather than attempting to know it all. And of course, in setup like arts, the cultural intelligence and your ability to work with a diverse set of colleagues around the world across locations, that is something which holds us in good stead. So these are some of the mindsets that I would rate as top of the deck, to align ourselves with workplace of future as well as the future of work.
Thank you, Hargo. That's very well captured. Appreciate it. Okay, let me then move to Geeta. Geeta, I may get you to perhaps share a little bit of your insights on what does consumer centricity means at Mondelez.
Sure. Thanks, Varinder. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
Yes, we
Welcome,
can hear
everybody,
you.
and I really hope you will have a good competition. And I wish everybody all the best. Come up with the best ideas that you have. We're waiting to see them all. So, yeah, I think you would have seen in the video. So, Mondelez has everything that we do here is around consumers, and we keep consumers at our heart whenever we design anything. So that's our policy and our principles that we live here in Mondelez. So consumer centricity means really spending time with your consumers to start with, to understand who is your consumer, okay, what age group, where they come from, how they live, what kind of snacking they do, and what child choices they have. So consumers make a lot of choices in their lives about product, about food that they eat. So we spend a lot of time understanding what choices they make and why they make specific choices. Okay, that will give us an insight that what job these products are doing for our consumers, and that is very very important because consumers will choose you or recruit you to do a particular job in their life. Either it is not being done by somebody or they want us to do a better job. So we spend a lot of time interacting with consumers, understanding what job our products are doing for them or what job they want our new products to do for them. Okay, so that is how we deal with consumers. We design products which satisfy their jobs or the needs that they have and do it better than the competition, or do it in a much better way than they are currently having it. We believe consumers are our coach, okay, they are our teachers, so they inspire us to think differently, critically, and inspire us to design an innovative solution. Everything of this backed up with the technology, we come up with a solution that is liked by a consumer. So I would highly recommend and encourage people, whenever you're designing any solution for your ideas, keep consumers at the center. Go meet a few consumers, understand what and why they will use the solution that you have developed, and come up with not only a product but a solution to the need that consumers have today. And that's how that product will have a higher chances to be successful in in the market, and that's what we follow at Mondelez.
Thank you, Geeta. That's very well captured again. If I were to just summarize it once again in a very simple language, really, consumer centricity is about creating a value for consumers, and that consumers are ready to buy our products over competition and do that again and again and again. Thank you very much. Let me then now move to Subhashish. So, Subhashish, it might be great if you can please share with us what is the Mondelez way of innovation. How do we approach innovation at Mondelez?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Barinder, and welcome everyone. And thanks to you and Geeta. Probably a lot of it has already been covered. Okay, so I'll not talk about the nitty gritty of how we do Mondelez or what is the product development cycle we follow. I think everybody will learn that's like in the details. But I'll talk more about the philosophy that we follow at Mondelez when we do innovation, right? So it starts with the mission we have, like empower people to snack right? And that's what basically drives everything that we do, and that includes innovation and how we do innovation, right? So when you say consumer, so it starts with people, our customer, our consumers, and then to understand them, what are the problems they're facing, what are the tensions in their life, what are the challenges they face, okay, and what are the current solutions they have, which to resolve those tensions, and if it is there, why those are not working, okay, and is from Mondelez, can we do something to resolve those tension. This once we know that, then probably the second question that comes up is like whether Mondelez have the right to do or is best placed to kind of work on those resolving those tension. That is also equally important for us. Like we don't want to work on something which is not us, right? So once we have that, the third question typically we ask is like, is it a big enough problem to solve, which basically means does it make business sense for us? Because yes, we want to kind of uh, uh, do come up with all the solutions for our consumer to make them happy, but we also have to think about our businesses, right? And if the answer of all of this is yes, and if we find that yes, this problem is worth solving, then only start about the solution. Okay, we don't we spend a lot of time defining the problem, understand the problem we want to solve, and then only you start up kind of start thinking about the solution. Now, as you know, like a single problem can have many solutions, okay, and then the key for us to identify the right solution which is fit for purpose, okay, which will not only make business sense but also should be acceptable to consumers. So during our development process, we make sure that we reach out and get feedback along the way from our consumers at a regular basis, and then we kind of narrow it down to the ideal optimum solution which then works with our consumer. To sum it up, as Geeta said, I think all our innovations are driven by consumers, okay, and that's how we kind of drive it.
Thank you, Subhashish. Again, I mean, if I were to summarize, so starting with consumer, ensuring that problem is big enough for us to solve, defining the problem, and then really spending our time to finding the right solution versus many solutions. So thank you. I'll just continue with you a little longer, Subhashish. Considering Subhashish also have a process background, I'm just going to ask one technology question to Subhashish. So where and how does a product idea and technology marry up to make ideas practical at Mondelez?
Wow, that's a great question, Barinder, and I think many a times, and that we have learned hard way, frankly. Many a times that comes as an afterthought, and we have done the mistakes in past in terms of thinking about what technology to use once the product idea has been developed or progressed to a large extent, okay, and this is something I will say never do that, okay. And why is so, why it is important to kind of think about the technology when we are thinking about or progressing on the product ideas, right? There are two things primarily. One is the scalability of the idea, and second is the cost, okay. So when I say scalability of the idea, you can always make a few prototypes, few samples, okay, in your lab, in your benchtop, and which would be great, which might be liked by consumers, right? But you can't really kind of, if you can't scale it up, you can't really make thousands or tons of product out of that. Okay, so it is important. The second thing is cost. Now you can have all the, bring in all the fancy technologies in the world and it is available, okay, and kind of make a perfect product with very accurate things, but the important thing is our consumer is going to pay for the cost for that. Okay, so it is very important to keep that in mind, that yes, that should be the right technology fit for that solution. Okay, how much consumers are going to pay for that solution. Okay, so for these two reasons, definitely whenever you are starting, it should be embedded, and you should bring this you should answer this technology questions at the very beginning, when you are kind of carving out this product idea. Okay, that's very important. Now imagine a situation when you have already created a product, okay, and made sufficient amount to do a consumer test, for example, okay, and consumer has give you a big thumbs up saying, okay, this is great product, I want to carry it forward, and then you realize that, oh, the cost is prohibited, or you don't have a technology which we cannot scale it up. Okay, that's then doesn't make any business sense, and you will be doing a lot of rework afterwards. Okay, so yeah, the to answer your question in one word, probably means the technology needs to come at the very beginning of the product development cycle, and it should start with that. It should not be two separate independent thing.
Thank you, Subhashish. Again, pearls of wisdom. Okay, let me move to Yogesh now. Yogesh, as I mentioned, leads our packaging team and has been one of our colleagues who've been through this technical training programs, and we will touch on that as well in a little while. But firstly, let me ask Yogesh about what are the focus areas or trends in packaging we are working on at Mondelez, or really we are trying to integrate to delight our consumers?
Thank you, Varinder, for that question. And first of all, wish you all the best to all the students and the participants for the Mavins. I'll start with the focus areas for Mondelez and of course, the trends as well. So, as you all know, the packaging is always a first moment of truth when it comes to buying a product on the shelf. And packaging plays a very important role. We call it in three P's, which is protect, preserve, and presentation. So I'll touch upon these points and dialing up on the key priorities and the trends which is going on in the packaging industry. So basically, our priority is driving the sustainable packaging materials and the formats, and that is one of the key ask also in the idea statement, how we can make our products good for health and sustainable, which are innovative in nature, but focusing on the health and wellness platform. So we as a Mondelez, of course, the first priority is the sustainable packaging formats and the materials. Second thing, we learned in the pandemic how we can smartly make the digital packaging, and I'm sure you, every one of you, have experienced that through the e-commerce buying, right? So the core focus is on the smart and connected packaging, and then consumer engagements through the brand activation. So packaging can be enabler to dial up the brand story and activate the brands and support the business to drive the growth. So key examples are thank you bar, which we've done recently in the pandemic in the multiple regional language, and then of course QR code and augmented reality, which is on our key brands on the leakable play pad. Those are some key examples which I can give you a key starter to think, and focusing on creating the portion control, family packs, and convenient packaging solution. As all we know that during this pandemic, the convenience has played a vital role. Safe packaging formats played a vital role on the go packaging. I think these are the key elements which we are looking forward when it comes to trends to drive that mindful and the right snacking offers for our consumers. So yeah, and to cite an example on the convenience packaging, Oreo snack and seal, which is a reclosability packaging, which is a great example to drive the multiple consumption pattern. So yeah, these are the areas and the innovations which we are focusing on.
Thank you, Yogesh. Very well summarized our focus areas for Mondelez packaging. And I just want to emphasize again, these are also very well embedded in what consumers want. I can just share an example, like for sake of example, in Australia, there is a large old population, and one of the things that we have to really design in our packaging is that people as they are getting old, they get some diseases like arthritis and stuff. So our packaging should be user friendly, and Yogesh and team basically make sure that it's not only about what's on the trend, but it's also designing the packaging for the folks by their lifestyle life stages as well. Okay,
Absolutely,
continuing with
Varun.
you, Yogesh.
Yeah.
I know I have covered a lot in, like, and proudly mentioned sustainability a few times. Jeffin did that, and our videos captured it. I really wanted you to bring that sustainability to life with few examples. Particularly, we have some great stories from our packaging side on sustainability.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thanks, Varinder. Of course, sustainability and well-being at the center stage and priority areas is one of the key strategic pillar for Mondelez. And of course, our purpose statement resonate that snacking made right. So our key purpose is empower people to snack right. So of course, what is sustainable snacking means? It's all about creating that future where people and planet thrive for creating resilient ingredient supply chain, reducing our environmental impacts, and developing the zero net waste packaging. So, touching upon the packaging pillars, I think we have our goals, which are the global commitments already announced in the media, that we are committed to do that recyclable packaging by 2025. So, all the packaging team globally is fully focusing and ensuring those recyclable packaging solution across all our categories and all the portfolios. So that is one of the key important strategy which we have it in packaging. And of course developing the net zero waste on the packaging as well. It's not just creating your packaging structures recyclable. It's all about how you create that ecosystem and circular economy. So we are partnering with multiple organizations as well on the recycling infrastructure. So that is also a key focus area on the waste management, which we are focusing on. And recently, of course, we have announced in terms of doing the recycled content plastics as well in some of the few brands in Cadbury Dairy Milk in Australia, and those are the research work which is going on, and those are the key focus areas for Mondelez. And of course, it's not just making our packaging recyclable, but how you communicate those changes to the consumers so that consumers are also aware of all these changes. So key focus on the branding, packaging, labeling is also being given. Not just that, I'll touch upon a few points on environmental impact. We have our commitment of net zero emission globally by 2050, so which is a big commitment, reducing our environmental impact by reducing the CO2, water, and food waste. So these are the areas, and of course the sustainable ingredients as well, not just packaging, not just environment, but ingredient strategy is also in place. Coco Life is a great example for that. So these are the areas which we are doing and focusing to drive the sustainability in Mondelez.
Fantastic. Thanks, Yogesh. So it's a holistic approach. It's not like one or other. It's
Yes.
everything that we do, right from water, electricity, packaging, ingredients, and behaviors.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thank you very much. Okay, let's move to Zafar. He has been patiently waiting for his turn. Before I ask you a question, maybe a little bit of an introduction on Zafar, particularly. He has a very important role to play from the external advocacy, advisory, and as part of FSSAI to really formulate the policies and the regulatory framework. So, Zafar, if you want to quickly just touch on, what external forums you are part of that help you to play your role, and helps integrate Mondelez SARA function as well.
Sure, sure. So thanks, Varinder. And I firstly welcome you all to this initiative of Mondelez in Mavins. So definitely, it's a very good, nice platform to speak on, um, speak something about Mondelez, which we are doing for society, which we are doing for the company. And definitely, as Varinder said, I'll touch upon how we deal with policies. So when we say policies, our mental mindset shifts towards the legal side. It is not the case. So definitely, so we have to draw the technical bits and inputs which goes into policy and what government wants us to follow, what we provide to public. So definitely to reach to those levels or sentences written into policies have like everything captured, like how they monitor, how they want us to do things which are right, how do they put us into task, like what we make relevance to public, to society. So that is how we operate, and as a part of the forums, I'm definitely part of all key discussions happening at a policy level, policy forming level at FSI. I represent CII. I represent Mondelez through CII, FICCI. Then there are certain scientific platforms which are like ILSI, which is International Life Science Institute, and I am in the board of ILSI. So we really make relevance and bring government, scientists, and industry on one platform to discuss scientific issues and then have consensus, which is definitely right scientifically. Then we definitely take public voice into consideration through forums, which is very, very important. And as every panelist have spoken about the customer or consumer centricity, so definitely we are the organization which heavily bent upon that. So that is how we definitely focus on doing right things, right way, right time, in providing right snack. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Zafar, for that good introduction. I hope that has provided a good overview to our listeners in terms of how Mondelez integrates science and regulation into the product design. Considering we had somebody who was really bold and really put their hand up to ask a question. Samiksha, thank you for asking that question. So Samiksha Jagatkar, apologies, I'm not able to spell your name right. Jagatkar has asked a question. Uh, how do we ensure that formulation and idea and the claims are feasible and that it will work? So it's a nice segue into what I was going to ask you, Zafar. So maybe we'll just start with that.
I think it's a very good question, and I welcome such questions, definitely from the budding minds, because if we really seed the right concepts at this level, definitely you'll become a very bright scientist and produce some wonderful products. So definitely see any. I'll start with a basic statement, like where I want to really seed this thought that any innovation, no matter how best it is, if it is not complying to the country policies, it will never see a light of commercial translation, right? So definitely that is a very thin line, and as a scientist, you have to keep in mind, because you're going to make a relevance to business and society. So definitely that product has to be marketable. So you have to start with that concept right from the scratch, and definitely then you have to see what is going on around, and government is especially putting a lot of focus on health and well-being, because you might have heard like India is becoming a diabetic capital. Our young generation is getting into obesity and hidden hunger type of serious ailments, and definitely we have to think from that perspective, and otherwise definitely we have to see the wrath of the government, like in terms of sin taxes for the products which are produced, or we will definitely have a very uh, uh, sounding warning logo on the product, which will really make sell difficult, or we will be using or selecting the ingredients which are supposed to be banned very near future. So definitely, I would, with that perspective, if I have to state, you have to be very cautious in making selections
Sure.
for the products, and definitely the product has to have a relevance for the long time, for next 5 to 10 years, 20 years, to make a business sense.
Fantastic. Thank you, Zafar. I think I misinterpreted the question a little bit. I thought the question was regarding how Mondelez does it. But thank you, Meetu, for clarifying. I think Smiksha's question was more during this Mavin competition. How are these guys going to ensure that whatever product or idea they pick fit right claims and stuff? So, Samiksha, just very briefly, I think you will have mentors assigned as part of the process. There will be few touch points, and I think those mentors can guide you in terms of if the product and some of those claims are really tying into what the problem is. At the same time, we will also encourage you to make use of technology, make use of some of the open source regulatory frameworks that are available, because it's as much we can guide you. I think it's also an opportunity for you guys to learn where industry is moving. Yeah. Great. Okay, so we have another question, but we will come back to it. I'll just continue with Zafar in terms of one of the questions that I think the audience might be interested in, which is around what are the upcoming trends in development with regards to consumer awareness and regulations? Because we have seen that now with the invent of technology, information available everywhere, how do you see consumers are evolving with that?
Thanks for asking this question, Barinder, because this is very important question, and at least for this forum where we are really talking to people who are entering into development space, or going to become scientists. So India has for 50 years had played with no regulations, and it actually got into a situation where all the MNCs were operating at a different level, all the domestic companies were operating at a different level, and then in 2006, FSI came into picture, and 2011, regulations came into picture. Since then, FSI has moved really fast in terms of harmonization, in terms of bringing regulations to the parity to the global level, and our development cannot lag behind with those regulations, because if we want to compete, we have to really follow those regulations. So, and definitely as a population, how we are moving towards, because food is very important. We consume 4 or 5 times a day, including 3 meals, 2 snacks, and I don't think anything else is important than this. So definitely, if you ask me, very fast evolving trends are definitely reductions in terms of the negative nutrients, which we call sugar, fats, and salt, which our population is over consuming than adequate quantity, and then getting into sick basket. So definitely, government is bringing some binding regulations towards these sites, and every industry is going to follow it, and make adjustments to their development cycle. And then the other very fast evolving side is enhancement of nutrients, in terms of providing a real value to the product, in terms of addition of adequate protein which is required for the day, or meeting the hidden hunger, which we call in our scientific language, like people don't know what they're lacking in terms of micronutrients, and people, entire gamut sitting here, I'm sure that they will be lacking one or the two ingredients or nutrients, like vitamin E, vitamin D. 97% of our population is deficient. So how do we manage these type of things? So definitely, this is a very evolving trend in terms of providing real value to the product. Then definitely, as other panelists also mentioned, that we have to be very selective, and sourcing the material which is coming from sustainable side. Otherwise, in future, definitely that disruption will come. So whatever we produce, whatever we go up to commercial level, has to have consistent supply. So we have to be mindful of that thing also, and definitely the right portion. because if we as industry offer right portions, and that is a cue for you guys to think upon. Yogesh also mentioned that this is very important, how we induce, how we educate our consumers to consume in the right portion size. So that will definitely be a input from my side to you guys, that don't ignore the trends, because that is what is the relevance, and that is what you're going to produce to society and sell uh, with all value.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Zafar. Maybe we address the second question, which actually came from employed engineers. Well, I mean, I like the name and the optimism. So well done. So the question, I think I'll just summarize it in a simple language. I think the question is around how do we ensure that everything that goes out of our factory in terms of the package comes back to meet our recyclability commitment. Yogesh, do you want to maybe try answering it?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, what I understood the question is, how are we managing our recycling and wastes right from the factory to consumer level? So of course, the package end up being in dustbin, as you all know that, and then of course there is a back backyard infrastructure well in place in collaboration with governments, of course. So all these wastages are being collected, and of course, one of the key objective of making our packaging recyclable is ensuring that whatever we are selling our products in is recyclable. So labeling is very, very important. So how does that work is, each of the packages like metal cans, glass bottles are segregated separately at the end, and then there are recyclers who are converting these package wastages into granules, and these granules are being used in making the I mean the industrial items like park benches, and so on and so forth. So, or playing elements, or big articles like the tanks and all. So these are the wastage which is being used in industrial application. This is how the circular economy works. But there is an industry and talk regarding mechanical recycling and chemical recycling. India is still in development zone in these aspects as against the developed country. But yeah, we are making a great progress. So there is a whole lot of supply chain which is available, and there is a organized sector which government is also supporting on. And you might have seen all the rules and regulations, plastic ban notices from the governments, and this is in context to that. So we need to educate the circular economy, and everyone should take the responsibility, not just the brand owners. So this is how it works. So there is a structured way
Okay.
to do it, but we are just I mean, long way to go, but of course we will achieve the mission what we have. Yeah.
Thanks, Yogesh. I just want to build a couple of points on what Yogesh said. So, firstly, just for your clarification, it's not essentially what we produce comes back. The way this is counted is uh, we collect equal amount of material that we produce from the market. So, basically, if we are producing 5 packets, we will basically pick up 5 packets. It might not be of Cadbury Dairy Milk, it might be of something else, but it will be equal amount of plastic or the material that we have produced will be coming back for recycling. And that's where it does not really translate into like what you're trying to say, like more number of empty packets to consumer means more discount for producer. No, not really. It's doesn't work like that. I think the benefit that we as a producer get is that we basically feel good about playing our part in being a sustainable organization, and also as a consumer, I think you also feel assured that the products you are consuming, you are not actually contributing to polluting the environment. And thirdly, as the regulations become more and more stringent on it, it adds cost. So when we are able to create this sort of an industry, it also generate jobs, it also generate other avenues of income. So hence it's a win-win for everybody. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Okay, in interest of time, I was just going to come back to Yogesh. I think we have one more question. We'll come to that. But I just wanted to come back to Yogesh and wanted him to perhaps share his experience of the technical trainee program he has been part and his journey in Mondelez. While this Mavins program is not like, again, I mean, it's kind of a complementary to our technical trainee program, but there is an opportunity towards end of this competition that will lead you to this program. So hence we just wanted Yogesh to share his experience. So back to you, Yogesh.
Yeah, thanks, Varinder. Uh, to talk about my career journey and the experience through the technical management trainee program, of course, it's way back in 2006, exactly 15, 16 years far ahead from where we are today. But of course, I can see personally everything has evolved, and the Mavins is the great example. We are having this digital campus session online. So, of course, I would like to capture few points. The technical training management program is, of course, not just giving you the technical experience, but of course, the program comprises of capturing all the cross-functional experiences and the stints, be it supply chain, marketing, sales, procurement, finance, and then consumer science, quality, regulatory. So almost all the cross-functional stints wherein we got an opportunity to learn and understand the roles and responsibility of the each functions, which in turn will help the individuals when they are getting into an actual role to understand the interdependencies with R&D and ways of working. So of course, this cross-functional stint experience is very, very great part of the technical management training program, I would say. And of course, people networking across the businesses and across the functions. That is another great opportunity to learn and connect with the multiple leaders, mentors across the business, not just from RDQ or research and development, but all across the rest of the functions as well. And of course, third point which I would like to talk on, 1 year shadow stint in the core function. So this opportunity is also great to work independently and on live business projects, which will give you a great experience, make you capable to do decision making, drive for results, taking ownership and accountability of your projects. And of course, not just that, but building your technical rigor and learning agility as well. And which is the core part which is required when you get it into a permanent role, right? So project management and stakeholder management skill sets. So of course, got an opportunity to learn all these things before you get the role. So you can imagine you learned all these things on the job while doing the projects. So that is a great part of it, which has really helped me to learn fast, not only on functional skill sets, but also build my soft skills like business acumen, leadership skills as well, which is indeed help me to learn fast and grow in the organization, and as a result where I am in the organization. So of course, multiple training programs, mentorships, as well as the cross-functional stints is a best part of this technical management training program, I would say. So which will
Thank you,
make
Yogesh.
you a rounded professional person to capable of do your job when you get it into the role. So yeah, that's my experience.
Fantastic, Yogesh. I think, yeah, just to sum it up, basically it helped you to become a thorough professional from a graduate, that you come with all the theoretical knowledge, all the knowledge of the world, but then this program helped you to build that knowledge into practical skills. And as a result, company grows and basically you grow as well along with the organization. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, next question. I think I missed the name where it came from. Let me just quickly check. Okay, Akash. Akash has asked a question. How do we differentiate, or how do Mondelez brands are differentiated from other brands in the market? Subhashish or Geeta, do you want to take a stab at it?
Sure, Barinder, I can kind of give it a first go, and Geeta, please feel free to kind of add in. So from my point of view, means how it is different, I think means these are very well known loved brand built over decades, years, and for some of them probably hundred of years, right? And it's just not because of the all the communication and great branding exercises. It's because of the product and the consistent quality we deliver over the years, right? So it of course is tasty, but it also stands for its own quality, right? So I think when you say, okay, this is from Mondelez, you can be sure of its quality. Okay, that's how I think Mondelez brands and products are differentiated from all the other brands, all the products from the different quantity. I'll probably say that. Okay, and which probably means when I say, okay, I work for Cadbury, means something lights up in the other person's smile, right? I think that is a testimony in itself in terms of how these brands are different from the other brands or the other product. Geeta, means feel free to add in.
Yeah, Shubhashis, I think you covered it nicely. I would also say one more thing is that we at Mondelez, we put a lot of emphasis on the consumer experience. So we definitely look at how we can offer a differentiated experience to our consumers versus the competition. So there are multiple products in the market like Silk, which is a chocolate, but it is giving a consumer a very differentiated and elevated experience. So that's what Mondelez does, and we are very good at that. So that's how we differentiate it at the marketplace.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think the only other thing I probably would add is I think specific products and brands are created around occasions, and some occasions I think we as an organization really own, right? And then there will be occasions we will basically say we are not getting in there. And I think that's also one way to differentiate. And then everything else that the folks have said, right? I mean, we want to build brands that are meaningful and purposeful. They are not only there to earn the dollars, they are there to really create a value for all our partners in this whole value chain, right from our consumers to our stakeholders to our community partners to our employees and everybody else involved, right from end to end. And I think that, to me, is one of the biggest differentiators of our brands. Our brands are very purposeful. And I just want to quote an example. I think some of you might have seen an advertisement or advertisements recently. One, we tried to partner with Shah Rukh Khan using technology. You know how in COVID, a lot of small shopkeepers, business owners were impacted. So that ad actually helped to bring those small shop owners and businesses to help them with their sales during the festive time. And some of those were not even selling Mondelez products, but we just wanted to do good for the community. Similarly, we launched a recent ad around the T20 tournament where the gender roles were reversed, and that was also our attempt to basically say, hey, it's different times, let's move with the times, and also emphasizing our commitment on diversity as well as on being an equal opportunity employer. So yeah, just wanted to sort of emphasize with some of the examples. I know we are right on a time, but if everybody is okay, we'll just quickly answer next two questions. The first one is from Rudranath Ghosh. I hope, Rudra, you are still online. So dairy milk needs to be stored in refrigeration. So your question is Mondelez working on a formulation where products don't need a refrigeration? So quick answer on that. I know I can see Subhash smiling because, I mean, this is one thing that keeps coming back. And yes, we do have technology solutions to deliver that. but it all really depends on what experience we want, our consumers want. And I think what we have tried to do in different parts of the world is created offers that don't require refrigeration. Like for sake of example, 5 star, Perk, some of our Crispello recently launched Cadbury Crispello products. They all provide the same Cadbury Dairy Milk experience in a very different format, but they don't require refrigeration. And there are certain formats like Silk, which is almost like, I mean, for sake of example, you would never put ice cream in an ambient environment. So some products, because of the experience they offer, we probably will follow the same supply chain. Yeah. Okay, last question. Me too. I guess this is the last question, which is around Samir Sanjay is asking around warm, spicy snack nowadays, especially in winter season. Can a ready-to-eat snacks other than noodles able to replace pani puri like snacks? I would say why not? We would be looking forward to some ideas from you, but maybe I will just ask Subhashish to touch on something that you might have seen in the market, Madbury, which is our program where we have tried to do some of this. Subhashish, do you want to maybe quickly comment on the Madbury program?
Yeah, sure. Means Madbury is a great one. I'm sure everybody is aware of it because it's a very successful campaign for us, and more to kind of engage our consumer and give an opportunity like this program, like Mavin. I think giving an opportunity to make your own recipe, okay, and we will be very happy, and we are happy to kind of deliver to consumer. So it is your idea, okay, we help to kind of scale it up and kind of manufacture it and then kind of make it even bigger, right? So Madbury is a great example of what you actually kind of suggested. And in terms of, as Barinder suggested, yes, this is a great opportunity for you to kind of ignite your imagination. Okay, we have spent so much of time in the industry that we are constrained with our thought process. We always think about, okay, what can go wrong, okay, what will not work, okay, at the very beginning of the ideation stage sometime, okay, but you don't have those constraints, right? So I'm sure means you will come up with great diverse ideas, okay. Let your imagination go wild, but as uh, uh, some of my colleagues earlier said, okay, kind of have a hint of practicality into it. So think about it. It doesn't wild enough for us to consider. Okay, so looking forward to those great ideas as you have mentioned. So we'll be very happy and really really eager to and waiting for those to come to us. Okay, so that will be my take, Varinder.
Thank you, Subhashish. And just in case if you have not already tried, there is a product under Madbury branding or chili orange. It's a wonderful product, at least we think. So maybe try that, Sanjay. It's a nice product, brings a lot of heat into it. Okay, with that, I would like to thank our panel. So thank you, guys, for your time as well as sharing your valuable insights with our potential Mavins and future Mavins. And I would like to now perhaps thank you everybody who participated in this session over last an hour and a half, particularly the Mavins who joined us from various locations as well as university campuses. Um, I think Shubham and this panel has given you a good what to expect from this program and how you can formulate your ideas to sort of compete in this program. So with that, I would say wish you the very best. Lastly, as I mentioned earlier, make sure that you don't take this too seriously. It's also about having fun while competing, and we really look forward to some great ideas coming from you. So with that, I will close the session and thank you, our partners, D2C. I think I probably need to hand over to Rati. Thank you, everyone. I think we are good to close the session.